Archangel, Revelations and Prophecies 444. I am Gat, your host. We're in the midst of an amazing read. I don't know if I'm going to put part one, part two, but it'll be obvious. The video right before this one started off with a person who had a new moon in Taurus, but they were born right at the new moon, and it was just an amazing, amazing read. The video was getting close to 2 hours, and I know this was going to be a long one based on that. So I said, let me go ahead before this turns into, like that last one was a 7-hour video. Before this turns into a long 7-hour video, let me just start breaking them up. So that was an amazing read. For me, I'm an investigator. So for me, I had fun. Everybody else probably was getting ticked off. But for me to dig, because that's what a real investigator does. They dig and dig into answers that they're looking for. And we found out that this person amazingly was born right at the new moon. What type of person is born right at the new moon? So that's going to be covered in this. The first one was the investigation. Now this one will go more. Who is this person? And remember, all this is going on in just the first house. So imagine, truly amazing. But we're still going to do a little bit more because on that website I was on, the Hindu website, I already said the website again. Try to listen to this in order, otherwise you're going to be all over that, because I'm not going to keep repeating the same stuff, otherwise it's still going to be a long video. So if I've already repeated it, or if I already spoke it in the first, video, I won't be speaking it again. I won't be explaining it again. If I already explained it in the first video, I'm not going to re-explain it again. Just listen to the videos in order. And I got distracted because I'm waiting on something I'm watching on the computer, because you can watch where people are and stuff like that. So I'm doing that right now as well. Wow. And the time just hit a time that's central to me, which was pretty cool. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of synchronicities. But Terry Nasan said that, and I just covered that in my the video I just dropped on my other channel. Give me a moment. I'm gonna check that right now because I'm a multitasking and I got like a billion things going on. It's great to be a nerd in the technology age. Oh. So Terry Nasan said it would be a lot of strange synchronicities, and it sure is, because there's a lot of stuff going on with Saturn and Pluto and possibly even Mars. So give me a moment. I'm going to try to turn this down before it comes on, but I might not be successful. Most important. All right, I got it. Give me a moment again. Now, last time I had a browser problems because somebody really didn't want that information to come out. But that only made me more determined. I've always been that way. To tell me don't do it, you might as well just give me the keys and say, go ahead. Because I'm going to do it and I'm going to find a way in one way or another. But that's what makes people great investigators. Alrighty. Yay, according to the computer, they're on their way. Let's just hope that's true. Alright, wait a minute, I gotta do something. Let me put this on pause. I'll be back. Alright, so like I said, we've already gone into the first house. We explained a lot of stuff. So now we're going to continue. So make sure you listen to the first video, the one right before this one. And if your channels open up like mine, it'll be the video to the right, which is the one prior to the one. You will look to the video to the right. That would be like part one, because I don't know part one in the video. But it definitely was about an amazing, a new moon person. But now we're going back into that website, the name of the website, because I'm looking right at it. Horoscopes, plural, horoscopes.astro-seek.com. Now I don't know how they are for moon readings. Let me check that out. Because so you got to get your moon reading from somebody that does Hindu astrology. You don't get your moon reading from what we call ourselves the West, the Western Hemisphere, or the North and Northern Hemisphere, or whatever they call it, because they call us the New World or West, the Northern Hemisphere. Don't get it from the East Coast, West Coast. Don't do that. Not your moon sign. Make sure you get your moon sign from the East, the Eastern. See, the East are wise, so they deal with the dragon. We don't. We hate the dragon because, see, the dragon is coming to destroy the people that took over the world. You know, I think they've been ruling more than 400 years, though, but a lot of people say 400 years, but I think those people have been ruling the world longer than that. Because even when you read your Bible, you had the Romans marching around, but some people say those Romans were not Caucasian, but I don't know. But when you read it, like, one thing I'll tell you, if you read the book of Acts, this will tell you what the Romans were. Because he says to Paul, aren't you an African? And Paul's like, I ain't no African, I'm Hebrew. This is in your Bibles. So apparently, if a Roman is asking Paul, aren't you an African? Because Paul is so dark. But if you know the history, the Hebrews were in Africa, and Africa is really Egypt. So you have a Roman saying to Paul, aren't you an African? And Paul's like, what? I'm not no African, I'm Hebrew. So obviously the person that's asking that question is not familiar with or used to seeing dark people. So that's kind of telling you right there, those Romans were probably not dark. So the more you get your history straight, that's why I went so deep in the first study, because you want facts. For the people that really want the truth, why am I here? What's my purpose? You want facts. And the most amazing thing is, when we get out of being dumbed down, once you take the information you know and show it to the person who's supposed to be your twin flame, or this person you got a purpose with, it's going to make them stronger. It's going to make them realize I'm here for a reason, and I'm here for a reason with you. But when you do it the bubblegum way, and you're silly, and you don't want to tell a person, or you're playing hard to get, all this silly third-dimensional way, and then you're wondering why you and your twin are not in union, look at yourself. First person. Get away from that bubblegum astrology, and these people are just ripping you off and not really helping you. They might make you feel good, but they're not helping you. See, if I'm hurt, I want to go to the doctor that's going to help me get better. I don't want to go to the doctor that's a good comedian, cracks good jokes, and he offers some lollipops that taste pretty good. That's not going to help me heal. I want the type of doctor that's going to tell me this is what needs to be done. A little bit of maturity, a little bit of professionalism, not goofy bubblegum astrology. All right. So again, what I want to do, I'm trying to check this website out, because I want to know if they do your moon sign reading. So that's what I'm saying. You want to go to the Hindus or the East to get your moon sign read, because you know your sun sign, whatever it might be. You also have a moon sign, and that's important too, because everything has to be balanced. It has to be the divine feminine. I'll be back in a moment. Notice that happened at 5-5, because I'm about to tell y'all something. All right. Starting to move. Starting to feel a little bit of resurrection going on. A lot of stuff's been going on with health and all kind of crazy stuff. I want to thank Terry Nasoon and Michelle Knight, two of the greatest astrologers in the world, because Terry Nasoon always gives information pertinent, and the stuff she says is real. Like, it affects the people in my household, and she's been doing it for a long time. She even knew when I had new neighbors. She knew I had neighbors before I did. She said, you got new neighbors. I said, no, I don't. There's nobody in that house over there. So I went around snooping around, looking around, and there they were. Terry Nasoon is the man. Hey, no, I'm just joking. The reason why I said the man, because if you watch WWE, their wrestling champion, Becky, she calls herself the man, but she calls herself the man in honor of Ric Flair, who they call the man. And Becky is really good friends with Charlotte, even though they act like they hate each other. All right, going back in. It's been a lot of I was pushing myself, but I was definitely pushing myself into some serious medical problems. So somehow I finally realized what was going wrong. I said, man, you're not the same dude you used to be. Like, what do you mean? You used to know when to say, okay, that's enough, and you're starting to be the old guy you used to be, like when you were younger, trying to take on the world. But you got to know when to stop. And the universe will help you. This is why I'm trying to tell you, learn your true purpose. Learn why you're here. Make sure you make the correct connections. Make sure you put your priorities first. Not the goofy stuff. Put the priorities first, because it'll be there for you when you need it. All right, now, quickly. So what happened just now, I finally decided, because I was supposed to be going back out tomorrow, and that's my problem. I really need to be staying off the feet and everything because I got all kind of stuff going on. And instead of going out tomorrow, I did what I normally used to do, especially in a case like this because I got a lot of stuff to do here. So one spot I definitely couldn't do. There's no way I'll be able to do it. So I called that location this morning. And then I still was planning on going out tomorrow morning. And then I said, nah, let me just do what I normally would do. So now I set a situation that at least I won't have to go nowhere for the next 3 days. So that's what that was about. And I got to see a guy. I didn't even know he still worked at that spot. I hadn't seen him. But after all that happened, and I do it like I normally did, now I'm starting to feel more like myself. I got so busy, I was just trying to do all this stuff all by myself and didn't even feel like myself. So that was kind of cool. All right. Give me a moment. Because they want you to take a survey. It's a quick survey. See, this is multitasking. This is what you got to do. This is the real world type of stuff. And they asked me did I want to review them on Google. And I said, yeah, I clicked the button. But it didn't take me to Google. It took me to a search engine. Oh, what the heck is this? Oh, yeah, I can't give them 5-star. Hey, but it's kind of cool because by me giving them 5-star, I got like my business name. I got like this name that I'm using right now. You're like, who's that? Hold on. So now that I know my business name, I got to do a little advertising. Yeah, baby. So I'm going to put this on pause. I'll be right back. All right. See, that's when you have a business mind. You know how to turn opportunities into business opportunities as well. So I did their ad, but I made sure I threw my stuff up in there as well. Now, so far they have 150 reviews, and their rating is 3-star. So I don't got no problem with the guys. These guys in the same township I am had a pretty good relationship, so I always give them 5-star. That's why the guy I just seen, I told him, I thought you jumped ship because I hadn't seen him in a while. This is so freaking cool. I'm looking at my ad. All right, so I'll put this in the end of the video. Just showing people how to make ads and stuff. Because it gave me an idea, because now I can go back to some other places and review them in other locations and throw this ad up there too. Yeah, boy. When you got a business, you got to be business minded. All right, don't worry. This is going to be a good read. See, you can tell when I'm going to do a real good read because I take my time. Like, I really take my time. Like, this one's going to be real good. But you have to understand when I'm working with, everybody isn't born at the moment of a new moon. That's why I tell everybody be patient and calm down. Get the information. Because third dimensional is always, strung out, want to argue, bitter. Wonder why? Why me? Why isn't my twin talking to me? Why is my twin on Facebook talking to someone else? Why? And that's why people make so much money, because they just play off of your emotions. Like, these people want to hear stuff like sit down, be quiet, meditate, give back. They don't want to hear that. They just want to hear goofy stuff. So somebody just sits there, oh yeah, they either tune into their frustration or their emotions and just manipulate them, or they just sit there and just talk about love, like love is about to pop out there. Oh, love is just gonna pop out and you're gonna be in love and everything's gonna be great. When the real world just doesn't work that way. It's gonna be struggles, and even in the first, if you meet real love, it's not gonna last. Like, if you really know, like I say, do you even know the 8 stages, the 6 to 8 stages of a twin flame relationship? So when people get their free report, I put that video on there. Not from me. This is from somebody else. But they know the stages. Because some people, when you first meet your twin, it's beautiful. Eye contact is unbelievable. The sex is great. Everything is freaking great. But then all of a sudden you still go into separation. And then that hurt, that separated hurt is worse. It's worse than the pain you felt through everything. And that's why by the time mine came, I was older. So I already knew. I already knew this. I've been on this planet long enough. I didn't know they called it twin flame or all the stuff that I know now. But I just know how shit works on the planet. So that's why I wasn't making no move on nothing. It took me too long. It took me a long time to get over the person I was with. Years ago, I stayed single after that. And I wasn't rushing into nothing. And I just did not I didn't want it. I wanted other shit I wanted to do with my life. Like, you hear me how I'm talking, you can hear in my voice, like, life. You know? I don't want to be, oh, why did so-and-so, why did they hurt me? Oh, I gave them everything. So it's a stepping stone for everything. Like I said, anybody I meet now, it's like, it's got to be a mutual whatever. It's got to be a mutual understanding. It's not going to be based on emotions, because that shit goes up and then goes down, and it goes up and goes out. And I know so many people, the moment you rush into it, you just killed it. You gotta learn how to slow down and make it worth. And like I said, and a lot of times people find out the hard way. Even with a lot of women, they don't want it either. You think they do, but some women don't like. That's why if a guy comes on too romantic or too strong, she's looking at him like, "What is he like? I just met this guy." Oh, you like that with all the girls? Are you a player? Because it's coming on too fast, too strong. So it's a lot of stuff you gotta learn, and you may not like learning it, but the faster you do learn it, the better chance you're having a better relationship. Okay, I want to tell this person before we go forward, the number 55 also follows you. You were born in 505, but 55 also follows you. Ironically, the number 14 is 5. 1 plus 4 is 5, so that number is following you too. So like if you see this, make sure I copied it. You see 15 reviews, stuff like that. And even when that guy knocked on the door for the delivery, it was 505 on my, because I got a timer. I got a countdown timer that goes off to remind me. Because like I told you, I'm a multitask king. I'm always all over the board. And what happens, sometimes I start stuff thinking I finished it, and I'll go through a whole night. I work a whole night, and it'll be 7 to sometimes 8 to 10 hours later. And I look, and it's still sitting there. And you can tell I get very frustrated, because that's 10 hours that should have been online. So now I use alarm clocks, all kind of crazy gadgets. See, I made my nerd work for me. And that female that wrote me after decades of not talking to her, that's the first thing she said was, yeah, you know, something about nerds. Yeah, they thought we were nerds and they hated us, and she called them assholes or something. I think I'll put her letter in the other video, part 1 to this video. At the end of that video, when all the audio stopped talking, I showed you all a lot of pictures that I had talked about during the video. And one of the pictures was hers, where she was talking about when we were kids and nerds and all that crazy stuff. I'm like, how the heck did she remember all that? That's not my. You say, I wonder if he really laughs like that. Well, a nerd would, yeah, but not me. I'm not a nerd. I was a nerd way back then. See, she knew me before I started hanging out with the bad boys. All right, so let me go back in. Just give me a moment, because I want to make sure I get this picture so I don't forget. All right, get rid of this one. Yeah, so I had to give him a 5. I couldn't give him anything less than a 5. I don't know why people only give him a 3 and stuff. It used to be a female. When I was going through my twin flame drama, one of their they had a female used to come over here. And see, her name was Julia, but they got Justice, Jupiter, all that stuff. Like, you gotta learn etymology too. Like, everything I keep telling you is organized in this universe, from numerology to etymology to the sounding of words. Like the son of God saves everybody according to scripture, but the sun in the sky also says S-U-N. And then in your Bible they call him the Son of Righteousness, S-U-N. In Malachi chapter 4 they call him the day star, the morning star. All these are references to the sun. And if you understand, they also compare him to Egypt. I call my son out of Egypt, and they say where our Lord was crucified, Sodom and Egypt. So the Messiah is always connected to Egypt. See, that's why I keep saying you got to know this stuff. Just like they said, Apostle Paul, ain't you an Egyptian or aren't you an African? Aren't you an Egyptian? Aren't you from North Africa? And he said, no, I'm a Hebrew. But they're telling you that for a reason. So the more you wake up to who you really are and tap back into that energy, the better off your life will be. Like with my twin, it might take a little bit more time and maturity, but when we meet, it won't be as crazy as it was this time. And like I said, with what was being offered at that time, I didn't want, because I didn't want somebody looking at me like, oh, you so in love with me and then you're gonna hurt me. I don't want that crap no more. I just had a friend out here. We used to be friends, but then she kind of like sold me out. Then she tried to come back and act like nothing happened. And she's going, I love you, and I'm like, that's the worst thing you could do. You just betrayed me. Don't say you love me, because that's only making me mad. You know, you could have came back and said anything, but you're talking about love. Well, love should have kept your ass here. You know, even on a friend, we were never involved, but we were just friends. So stop tossing around the word love like it's a freaking hey, how you doing, buddy? All right, hey, great day. Don't toss around that word love like that, okay? Because that's not a word, especially a lion. Leos are very loyal. We don't like that. Don't use that word. Don't use it as a catchphrase. All right. Give me one moment. One moment, please. Now, so your Taurus sun sign, we're going to do that a little bit. Sun sign Taurus. This is still horoscope.astro-seek.com. Now, if you watch what I do, I deal with the experts, but I'm also doing my same thing. So make sure you're seeing it, because like I said, sometimes people hear and see selectively. I like second opinions, because I try to stay real humble. Plus, what I notice, new websites are always coming out online, and some of those newer websites have more insight and are just way better. So I like to always get a second opinion. And plus, the universe is always working. There may be information about this person. Each person, all of us are under some type of dominion. So whether you like it or not, there are angels, there are spirits that are all watching you, and all of them are not good. Some of them are evil, but they're all in your category. Just like when you see on TV, you got the red devil on one side of your shoulder, the white angel on the other side. So that's real. That's like your life. That's your life. So everything is registered, everything is whatever, and that's why I said the more you know about this stuff, the better off you'll be. Otherwise, you're letting a whole bunch of people in another realm dictate your life. Nobody dictates my life but me. I have anybody I work for, there's mutual respect there. If you ever see it, it's mutual. Like, nobody talks to me like I'm an idiot. Not a customer, not anybody. Nobody talks to me like I'm stupid. See, when you understand why you're here and who you are and where you come from, all this stuff is really on your natal chart if you're listening, but people get so consumed with third dimension. And third dimension is just like effed up. So you're always going to be worrying about your lover or something, because something's always effed up in third dimension. If you notice, whether it's the traffic, you name it, it is something effed up in third dimensional. But that's a distraction. But most people put their focus on the distraction and not on who you are. Why? Because like me, if I had found out I was born under a new moon and I was born right at the new moon, I'm like flat, like what the, who am I? What is it? What's my connection? Wow, what is that? I'd be more interested in that, because all that other stuff is going to happen anyway. Like I said, I could go out right now and find love if I wanted to. It's that simple. One time I was just sitting at this bar. This long I don't drink no more. One time I'm just sitting at this bar in there, and this white girl comes in, and she looked a little bit to me like Pat Benatar, but I ain't talked to her. She ain't talked to me the whole time. But she's just walking around. I'm just sitting there, drinking my drink, just sitting there. And so as I get ready to leave, I think I walked over to her or something, and I was like, do you like Pat Benatar? She's like, kind of. I said, yeah, you remind me of her a little bit. And so we're kind of like talking. All of a sudden, our hands start touching. Like I don't know how the conversation got from Pat Benatar to her touching my hand or whatever. So my point I could have said, hey, what are you doing after work or whatever, because it was quite obviously she was interested. So The point I'm making is that stuff is simple, and that's the problem. It's too simple sometimes because you meet somebody that's wham bam thank you ma'am or wham bam thank you man, but it's not going nowhere. But that's third dimensional. So we waste so much time on that third dimensional stuff, then we rush into something and the person leaves us, and then we're worrying about this, worrying about child support, worrying about taking them to court. All the stuff we do third dimensional. It's so many problems, so much dysfunction. But yet we're here for a reason. And what we do, we miss the reason why we're here because we get too caught up on the drama, the distractions, and all that other stuff. So my job is to remind people, even though I don't always get a good response, because most people are just comfortable with third dimensional. But third dimensional is not here to stay. It's not going to last very long. Believe me, to live only 70 years of your life or something, a lot of these people, because of their lifestyle, they're dying at 20 and 30, before. So this is not the place you want to put your hopes. You want to find out who you are. You want to find out why you're really here. And you want to make sure everything else revolves around that. And that's why your scriptures gave you the Messiah, because that's what he did. He's not just, the Savior and all that. It's not just spiritual. He was a role model. That's why the first thing they did was associate him with his sun sign or his natal chart to find out who he was, why he was here, what's he going to do. And it wasn't until he got taken out because of people who love this world. And he was always telling you, don't love this world more than the world you come from, because this world is limited. But he got taken out by people who love this world so much that they were willing to forsake the spiritual aspect and go with the matrix. But when you do that, you got to understand what you choose is where you go. Because there's another world other than this one. And one is up, one is down. That's why I say you got to understand duality and all the stuff that we're learning today, or people that are really researching are learning. And there's a reason why she has both sun and moon in her first house. So the characteristics of a sun sign Taurus: calm and patient, appreciation for beautiful and pleasant things. Now some of the stuff I may have read, but it's still a longer list. What happened last time I read it, but then you know how it says more and you got to click it and it opens up to give you more? That's what happened. But by the time I got done with that video, I said this is the best place to stop it and come back. So that's what we're doing now. But they say these people can be introverted, so they won't even talk to their best friends about certain stuff. So they don't necessarily talk things over with even their best friends. And I could see that in my but I would try to tell you to break out that habit, because you gotta look at it. First off, my brother-in-law spent some time in a crazy house, but that's because he represses everything. See, I don't repress shit. You understand? I learned that a long time ago. If I'm mad, you're gonna know I'm mad. If I'm happy, you're gonna know I'm mad. I don't repress nothing. You gotta remember, I came from a religious background, but the more I studied and studied, like, it's just a lot of lies out here. And if you're not careful what you do, you start to live your life built on somebody else's lies. Don't live your life built on somebody else's lies. You got to live your life built on your life. If you're mad, you're mad. If you're sad, you're whatever you are. Just be who you are. That's why I say I give women a lot of credit for that. Like the ideal woman, she's going to tell you how she feels. If she feels a certain way, she'll start dancing in the street. So that's why you gotta respect a gay guy, because even he's like that. Hey, he's happy. You're gonna know it. He's not necessarily gonna hide what he's thinking. So you gotta get that. When you talk about the chakra, that's the whole thing, the throat chakra. And we were just talking about the throat when it comes to Taurus. But you don't want to repress it. So you can talk with your voice. You could talk with an email. You could talk on the phone. Whatever you feel comfortable talking, whatever helps you get to the point where you can actually express how you're really feeling and not repressing it, it is. And now how people respond, well, like this is the difference between me and others, is life is life. So you may say something and maybe your friend does get mad or somebody does pull away from you. But I feel like if you pull away from me because I'm telling you how I feel, do I really want you to be my best friend? Do I really want you that close to my life? Because you're supposed to be there for me. So I gotta watch what I say around you. So anywhere where you go where somebody's trying to structure how you talk, whether it's religion or wherever, I would strongly advise you reevaluate you. Because the bottom line is you need God. And a lot of times people go to churches, they get molested or whatever. The pastors nailing all the females in the church. All kind of crazy stuff's going on. So that's not a place you would go for spiritual insight. And that's how you know it's not real. It's community. And they got something where they tell you, well, listen, nobody's perfect. But that's an excuse. Like, I'm not saying we're perfect, but that's like me robbing a bank and say, hey, you know what? I'm not perfect. Okay, but you still robbed a bank. You're still going to have to pay for that. You're still going to go to jail. You just can't make excuses. And that's what a lot of people do. And they want you to think that it's okay and it's biblical and it's okay to be around a bunch of pedophiles and a bunch of other people. But no, you need to find what's good for you and your family and stuff like that, and don't make those mistakes. And I still am awed that so many people have allowed their children to be molested and did nothing about it, even once they found out. Because you would have thought it would have been some like rioting, or they would have went after the person that victimized their child or whatever. They would have went out of their way to expose these pedophiles and stuff, but they don't, for whatever reason. So that's why I keep telling you, this is third dimensional. This is low vibrational, and you got to understand that. And we're not really third dimensional people. It's only third dimensional if you choose it. But people that are waking up know, well, I'm way higher than some third dimension. And once you do that, you start to get your life back. You stop slaving. That's why they give you the devil card. Like the devil card number 15, he's the ruler of third dimension. That Baphomet, that big devil, and the tarot card number 15. And he's got all those people thinking they're bound to him, and they could walk away if they wanted to. But they're so silly that they won't walk out. So they say this person might be very conservative. So they may dress conservatively or behave conservatively. And that could be true, but that does not necessarily have to be true. So these people like high quality materials, perfect design, and they really go into values, their value system. Now also about a Taurus, they can be very strong and determined, and that's a good thing usually, but sometimes it's not, because they could also be very stubborn. So that's why I said one thing you always want to make sure that if you're stubborn, it's stubborn for, say, the right reason. And how do you know if it's the right reason? A lot of times it's just research, and when you're dealing with people, if you're really because some people don't take counsel, and some people won't, listen to a person. But if you are going to choose to listen to somebody, hopefully you're choosing somebody who's telling you the truth and giving you right knowledge, and not just knowledge based on you could say like selfishness. Alright, just give me a moment, because I'm getting ready to upload this video. And I gotta pay attention, because like I said, I don't want to look back later and find out that it didn't upload. I gotta watch everything. I learned that a long time ago. Like I told you about warfare. If you listen to the first video, which I'm calling part 1 to this video, this would be part 2. It was warfare going on, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. You have to watch everything, because you'll click something, and any other time it should have worked fine, but the moment you took your eye off of it, mind, and then watch it, all of a sudden you come back, like I said, 5-6 hours later, and nothing happened. So you got to literally sit there and watch it, because this is really warfare. Why is it warfare? Because no matter who's waking up, people are waking up. So it might be this person who asked for this video, might be somebody listening, but people are waking up. So people that are helping wake these people up, they're in warfare. I hear the Grox One say it. I hear Nania say it. I hear not just me, but I hear other people say the same stuff I know to be true. You hear Minister Paul say it. Anybody that's trying to wake you up any type of way, they see it. It's a battle between light and darkness. Just like it's another female who said that, and I want to give you all her name. Give me one moment. I'll give you her name. And I gotta go downstairs in a minute, because I hear some powerful lawnmowers, and I gotta see who that is. Just like in my neighborhood, there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on. You have people that become enemies for no apparent reason. But I keep trying to tell y'all, it's the same thing Nania says. It's light against darkness. So I just want to know who's out there with them loud lawnmowers, where they're at, and all that. Because what happens, they'll dump the stuff on your property. These are crazy. Like that's why I feel for Nania, because I go through the same shit, just not as intense as she does. Okay, the woman I'm telling you to go listen to, she says it's a battle of light against darkness. This is Leda Duncheva. Leda, Lada Duncheva. She's also an astrologer, and she said new moon in Gemini brings victory of light over darkness in your life. 12 signs. So she was talking about the new moon. I think last month, or new moon this month. Well, yeah, this month probably. She's probably talking about the new moon in June. Probably, yeah, because that's what we were talking about earlier. So it's funny we're talking about the same thing, light over darkness. All right, give me a moment because, like I said, I gotta go back and make sure this gets uploaded. So I say you have to keep an eye on things because when you hear that lawnmower, you got to make sure you looked and checked everything because that way you can say like if anything happens, you can say no because I looked out there at this time and that stuff wasn't there. So it had to be these guys because they were there at that time and blah blah. You got to really be like stay on top of stuff. All right, I'm gonna pause this. I'll be back. So like I said, I knew what I was talking about. Those landscapers at my neighbor's house. My neighbors are drama queens, whatever. And where they normally put their stuff, their debris, which always comes on our property, they got a car blocking it. So where are these guys gonna dump their stuff if the neighbors have not moved the car? So it's just more drama, and I won't go full details, but believe me, it's unbelievably drama with these people all the time. So that's what I mean by light against darkness, because you're always pulled into stuff that don't got nothing to do with you. And that's why you have to be out there to take a look, because they'll lie. And the funny thing about it is, they call their religion the truth. They say, "Oh, we're the truth." Like they imply that no other religion on the planet has the truth, but them. But they're some of the most like someone. How can you knock on somebody else's door and tell them to love thy neighbor, and you're like the worst neighbors we've ever had, and we've been in this neighborhood for decades. So it is what it is. So you get pulled into stuff that you rather have nothing to do with, but if you don't fight for yourself, ain't nobody fighting for you. So you have to learn how to speak up. That's why I'm totally against people that repress their feelings. I think you do yourself a disservice, and you almost set yourself up for being bullied one way or another. Cause like right now, what's going on right now? I will be back out later on to see where they put their stuff. Cause there's only one other place they really could put it, and that's our spot. That's our property. That's everything. But those guys, it's not really their fault because the other people should have moved the car. So as soon as that stuff lands there, I have to make a phone call to the township, let them know. And unfortunately, I even got an attorney that I've spoken with throughout the years. He's helped me on a lot of occasions because they got to know this has got to stop because this has been going on for too long. And nobody wants to do nothing to this person because she used to work for the township. But she thinks she's untouchable. And they crossed the line with me one time, but I let them know. Everything I did was legal. But I let them know you're not untouchable. Like I said, that's the worst mistake people make with me when they tell me I can't do something. I will find a way to do it. And I'll make sure it's legal. All right. Now we'll get back into the read. So they say these people had to feel secure. And they use everything to help them feel this way. Like I say, he does. This dude, he works all the fucking time. And then he comes home and he cooks. Because he's married to my sister. And I can tell you, she like a drama queen. She told me, she said, you better stop talking about me. I said, you better stop fucking up. I'll stop talking about you. So he work all them hours. Then he come home and cook. But like I said, that just ain't the way to live your life, though. You know, it really ain't. Sometimes you can't be afraid of an argument. Even when I was with my twin, what my twin did, I mean, when I worked with her, we were never in a couple in this life, but we still worked together. And she would just go out of her way to do stuff and then come in a place looking at me like smiling all crazy and like let me know she had been with somebody else and stuff. So she tried to do everything to just break me. This woman was wicked, like unbelievably wicked. I keep telling you, this shit is light against darkness. I'm not, y'all just seen it. Y'all saw what happened in the first video. I couldn't even get the information I was looking for. Every attempt to find this information was blocked. You notice it's not happening right now, but it darn sure happened last time. They did not want that information to come out. So if you think it's just a joke, I don't know. That's why I gave you references like Non Nania, the Grox one, and other people out here to tell you the same thing. Just like if you know you have a landscaper coming, you know you got to move that car so that they can put the stuff down, put all the debris down. So why not? So then they're going to put it down on our property, and then just to keep the war going. Those people won't learn. And that's why, like it's sad, but I would tell anybody, if you got the money and you can afford it, make sure you got attorneys on the spot and all kind of stuff. Because you live in a crazy world where people will go out of it. That's like somebody that cuts you off and then gives you the finger. Okay, you just cut me off. I was minding my own business. They cut you off and then give you the finger. It's like they're almost provoking you to do something crazy. So they say this person will put a lot of effort into getting all these material things. But like I said, I'm going to tell you the truth, and I hope this resonates with somebody. When he did go in a crazy house, no matter what none of these people say, it was me that got him out. Because I told him what to say. And when he started acting crazy again, I let him know. And I let like my sister's side know. And I let him know too. I said, listen, you got to do something about that. You can't just be going crazy. And I said, if that happens again, your ass will be going back in. So I've been a big influence on him. Because like I'm like, there's an older child, my sister, but she's no longer alive. Then it's me. And then it's this sister, the younger sister. We're all 3 years apart. And even her daughter was born on 333. My younger sister's daughter was born at 3:33 a.m. And that's a big number. In fact, that number was just in the universe just now. And Tanya Gabrielle and Terry Nassan especially spoke about it. So this stuff is real. Nothing to be laughed at, nor do you diminish it. You don't take something as powerful as astrology and turn it into bubblegum love stories. That's disrespecting the spirit realm. That's disrespecting the creator who put all this in motion. It's just selfish. It's unbelievably selfish that so people can be so selfish that the whole world is supposed to stop just because they feel a certain way. And then they wonder why it doesn't happen, or it happens, but it's always a catch to it. Because it's like when you steal something, like God may let you steal it, but something with that theft is going to affect you one way or another. It's always going to be a karmic payback. So like I was trying to tell him, so all that stuff he's chasing, all that materialism and all that stuff, that didn't help get him out the crazy house. In fact, it helped put him in it. And just like I'm watching now, like he's really doing it. I'm like, uh-oh, let's hope it's not another fall coming. And it's not hate. I'm not being a hater. I'm just using common sense. Because first off, it's two of y'all. So I hope the other person is working as hard as you are. But I don't see how that's true if you're working all the time, then coming home and cooking. Because I know I got health problems. I was trying to work more, and I just got caught up in everything I need to get done. that I wasn't listening to my vital signs and nothing. I always do. I'm the first to tap out. I'm one of these dudes. Oh, I'm going home. Sorry, but I'm still alive. Like, people can talk trash about me, but I'm still alive. A lot of my friends are no longer here, and it's not old age. They're not here for stupid mistakes, over abuse of drugs, alcohol, you name it, they did it. But I just know when you have health problems, you got to know when to tap out, because your body will start to let you know. So that's the point I'm trying to make. They say Taurus works really hard to get what they want. So I'm saying he's a Taurus, and that's what he's like. He's going to keep on working. And then all of a sudden, it'll happen again out of nowhere. So they say these people want their family to have the best. But it said they will look out for their family. They're accurate and reliable. So they say they basically focus on their family, artistic experiences, and good food. And this person said they may not be deep into sports, but I disagree with that too. They may be. Also, one thing, Taurus in the fifth house, ruled by Leo, when they go out to have fun, they'll empty their pocketbook. So you got to be very careful with a Taurus in the fifth house, because they really will lose sense of, like, they can get caught up in gambling and stuff like that, because they just get caught up in the moment. They love massages, and they're very sensual signs as well. Very sensual, very sexual signs. Now your Taurus is not in the fifth house, but your sun sign is Taurus. So I'm still going to say it's that same connection. So in those areas, what I would call excessive, you have to be careful. And that's why certain times, if you know you're going out, you got to have a certain money to spend, no more, no less. Or if you trust somebody enough, let them be the money person, because otherwise Taurus will get caught up in the moment. So because Venus is Taurus' ruler, they have a high sense of art. And these could be active artists, singers, or architects. So they do care about their reputation, or like what would be their value system as well, how they view life. So even if they don't like who they're working for, they'll still do a good job. And I don't know if this is true for all Tauruses, uh, but I know one thing my brother does, and he I called him on, he didn't like it, but I still called him on it. Like, he's not the type to really sit and really study, say, spiritual stuff. But what he will do, he'll give you his take on it. And some of his takes are pretty intelligent thinking, but it's still philosophizing. Cause like I told him, I said, man, I'm not gonna sit here with you and you're not gonna tell me what you think happened. I said, that's why you got a Bible, read it. So I told him I'm not listening to that stuff. But some of the stuff he was saying, it was intelligent, and it could have happened, it could be true, but it's just like it wasn't based on it. It was more like just somebody, how they feel, and I call that philosophizing. So you just got to be careful. with philosophy, because even when you're dealing with somebody that likes to make up their own value system, because this is a person who start to create their own reality, and you have to understand, like, all this stuff is in motion. There will be a judgment that a person has to answer to and stuff like that. So you don't want to go through your life just making shit up, because you're gonna have to answer for that sooner or later. All right, now just give me a moment. I came to this page for a reason. Free horoscope charts, because I just want to see birth chart, ascendant, and so this is a good place to go to really check out your See, this is my first time ever using this website. It seems to be somewhat reliable, but it's horoscopes.astro-seek.com. They even got a numerology calculator. Let me just look. If you don't, I just got to look around. I'm just trying to see if they do your even retrograde planets. They said retrograde planets 1800s to the 2100s. These people are pretty much on point. All right, so let's give you your numerology since we're right here. Like I said, when you have an expert doing your stuff, just let the expert do what the expert do. Because it's just human nature. Oh, why is he talking? I don't care about your neighbors. Just let it go. Let the spirit go where it's going. And that's why I said, what people have to realize, if you were to get somebody else to do your natal chart, it will be way more than what I'm charging. Dr. Stanley is charging like $200, and she doesn't cover half the stuff I do. But I keep the prices as low as I possibly can, because there's other people listening one way or another. So it's waking people up to the universe, because it's my goal to watch people go back to who they really are, so that we can get the hell out of this third dimensional piece of shit matrix that ain't really helping nobody. And that's why I said everybody is selfish. And that's why, like I said, you'll have a Taurus that says, I'm just going to work hard and get mine. But what about other people? And you know, Taurus is a sign of the Pope, the Hierophant. That's card number 5. And it's funny because five resonates with you too. But number 5 is the number of the Pope, the Hierophant card. And every now and then when he would go like what we call crazy, he starts preaching. Like he'll start calling up people and start preaching to them and stuff out of nowhere. But that's because that's probably who he was in a past life. But see, he don't care nothing about this. Like, he don't care jack about none of this astrology and shit like that. In this lifetime, he's more like, oh, I just got to work real hard and get what I want. Okay, now I heard those. I got to find out where those landscapers went. Because one minute they were all loud. And now it's like, now I don't hear nothing. I got to find out what the heck they doing. Alright, give me a moment because we're doing your numerology. Now, just so y'all know, it says life path number, birthday number, name numerology, personal year. Alright. Okay, so your life path number is 1. Birthday number is 14, which means determination. When they said the arrow. Remember when I first started, I said the arrow? So they said you're 14-5-1980. They said arrow of determination. The full arrow. These people are enterprising and active. They are tenacious. Nothing stops them from getting what they want. They are stubborn and only see themselves. They are inflexible. I'm going to just send you this link because I'm not going to read all this. It's not a whole lot, but I'm just gonna send you the link. All right, give me a second. So now they're talking about what else? Full life report. I just want to see this. All right, well we already did that. Lifetime report. Then it says something about current period. Let me see. All right, they're saying it's a personal 4-year. Come on. Man, I can't believe they got that quiet. That landscaper do some weird ass shit. Like he has different houses that he cuts on. So he'll come and like he'll do maybe a couple of houses one day, and then he comes right back the same day, like the next day, and does like, dude, you was just here. Why don't you just do one neighborhood since you're right here? It'll save you some gas and you're right here anyway. But he does stuff like that. And I remember one day he just kept coming back. Cause you gotta understand, like them some loud ass machines. Like, yo, chill. Alright, I gotta find out what he's got. I'll be right back. And just for the record, all these people we're talking about, I've helped them as far as like the landscaper. He used to be the mailman. So I used to get that guy tips and stuff. And these people, like, I made sure like I clean the stuff off the street. All the oh, I hear him now. But I clear the stuff off the street, stuff in front of their houses. I used to carry their garbage cans up. But every person I'm naming have done me dirty, including him. So that's why we're trying to tell you there's so many different sides of a story, and people like to pick and choose. But I've learned, you just gotta know what's up and go that way. And you can't worry about what somebody else is saying, because somebody else is gonna base it on their opinion. They're gonna base it on whether they like somebody, they don't like somebody. They're not gonna act like somebody could really be a terrible person. But I'm not gonna say that about so and so. She's never did that to me. But yeah, she still did it though. She just didn't do it to you. So you just learn certain things in life, and that's why I said sometimes you have no choice. Once you find out that the game is not fair, you have to protect yourself wherever you're at. And if you don't protect yourself, you'll probably get caught up in some he said, she said garbage. But you're gonna pay the price because you weren't prepared for the battle. All right, we're gonna put this back on. We're getting ready to do the moon sign in Taurus. That's why I said when somebody's insecure, like I was saying, and then they think, oh, I'm just gonna work. I'll make a lot of money. I'll work real hard, because they're really insecure, and they're finding power through having nice cows, the most recent stuff, and your kids got the best clothes and the best toys and all that. So you find power there, but from a spiritual aspect, the Messiah is warning you not to take that route. Always, like, it's got to be balanced. Nobody said you can't make money. You can make money. Nobody said you can't make money, but it has to be balanced. And when we're talking about this dude is extreme. So he, in his mind, oh man, you ain't nobody. Look at you, you ain't got no money. Blah blah. In his mind, he thinks he's all that. But like me, I'm looking at him like, but dude, look at like the fact that you feel like you need that to make you whole. It shows you got issues. Because if you really, if you're confident in yourself, you're gonna be confident whether you got a lot of money or not. That's not gonna be what makes you confident. The fact that you feel you need that shows how inconfident you are. Now, don't get me wrong, you're still gonna impress people, and they may see you a certain way, but you have to understand at the end of all of this, it's your judgment is not going to be based on how much money you got, how big your house is. Your judgment is going to be based on your heart and what you were supposed to have done in this life, and did you do it? And that's why I say people don't realize when you walk past the truth, whatever that truth might be, when you walk past it for something else, you're still getting judged for that. Because when you go, oh, I didn't know. Yes, you did. You kept walking past it. And there is more to this life. And when you study the ancients, they all told you it would be about a judgment day, or you're going to have to answer for your actions and stuff like that. So it's not just me saying it, or not just Christians saying it. It's wherever you go. It's like that's always they always knew it would be a coming day when you have to answer for whatever. So that's why you want to make sure whatever you're believing is going to be in harmony with what that judgment is going to be when it comes your way. Alright, this is going to be... Give me a moment, I want to get out of here. But it's this site I'm talking about, it definitely is a real astrological site. The only thing you just got to be careful of is the time zones. You got to make sure you're using time zones that are correct in your time zone. You could also become a member. Like it's another day. I might come back here and become a member. Just sign up. Alright, let me see. Yeah, in order to do like your whatever, you have to be like a member. But I don't think they charge you. I don't know. Because I just want to know if their moon sign is any good. Because the people I use, their moon sign is kind of like good. It's real difficult to find a Hindu site that really is good on your moon site, your sign. But you always got to remember, see, we're not from the east. We're from the other side. So that might be one of the reasons why or not. But I finally found one they do your moon sign pretty good. The guy's like, you will have a headache today. And I usually don't have a headache. So I was like, yo, I do got a headache today and shit. But he said some other stuff. They said some other stuff that was like right on point. Today you will have a pain in your leg. Like, what? I do got a pain in my leg. And something else, though. They said. Because people be sleeping on astrology. Listen, man. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I'm not no dummy. Like, astrology is the shiznik. Spirituality is the shignik. All that stuff. Because that materialism, it works sometimes. But what happens if you get laid off and stuff like that? Like I said, you got to understand what I'm saying. Like, no disrespect to him. See, he's fortunate because he's got spiritual people like me around him, whether he appreciates it or not. And he's got somewhat of a foundation. So even when somebody like that falls, I'm talking about brother-in-law, even when somebody like that falls, they still got that around them one way or another. Even when you don't appreciate it. It's like when a teenage kid get wild and all that, and they fall or something, but they still got that foundation if they come from like a good family and stuff. So they still have that. All right. I just want to know, it's important to me about this particular moon sign or whatever. So I don't know. Just so you know, when you do register, now it's just called astro-seek.com. Astro, that little hyphen symbol, seek.com. Alright, like I said, I'll spare y'all, but it's just a lot of weird stuff going on with them people. But when I say it's a battle between light and darkness, you would understand it. Like if you was on my other channel, I talk way more about it, but I'm not gonna do that in this video. But just a lot of weird stuff going on with them people. Anyway, the landscapers showed up, I guess, because of their grass. Because I gotta watch everything. Because I noticed that too, their grass was starting to grow back a lot faster, and it had a lot of those white, like not daisies, but white stuff coming. So I think they call it in the grass like flowers, but it looks hard. It looked horrible, and everybody else's grass in the neighborhood has been cut now. So they probably didn't like it, and they called him and asked him could he come back, which he did, but he came back just with the sole purpose to do a quick touch-up. But like I said, but still, there was nowhere for them to park, because now they got some other car parked. They be trying to block all this. They just crazy people. That's what I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm gonna tell. But they trying to block all the spots so you can't park over there and stuff. They just crazy people. Like they get mad because their debris comes on your property, and when you speak about it, they get mad. Instead of them going, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll take care of it," they actually get mad and they try to lie and say it's your debris when it's not. These are some weirdos. So to make a long story short, so like I said, it did happen though. The guy didn't have no place to put whatever debris he had, so he still where he put it at is our property. But fortunately, it's not a whole lot. But see, what they try to do is draw you into an argument. I know what they try to do, and you actually it's not in your favor because I already know for a fact they're not going to do nothing to her because she used to work for the township. So if I had to get any type of whatever justice, I would have to go outside of. You would have to get a lawyer and do all kind of crazy stuff. And then it gets real political because then it's like you're trying to beef it out with her, but she's got them back. So it's like then you in the township and it gets crazy. So, but he did throw some, stuff out there because he had nowhere else to put it, so he put it in our spot. But that's really her stuff. So it is. But thank God it wasn't a whole lot this time. But it's been times when it was unbelievable, and it blocks the driveway. And like the other person here is very old, so they might be trying to get out the driveway, and then you know how an old person is when they see something, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I can't." Oh, and I'm not here all the time and stuff, so it's one of them things. But it is what it is. That's why you got to just keep an eye on it, and it's just certain times when you got to let them know that you're not gonna let them just get away with it. You got to find a way to just let them know. Oh no, you're not just gonna walk away and get away with this. All right. Hey, this shit is cool. So I logged in. No, this is important for anybody seeking. But like I said, me, I'm like what my brother-in-law does materially, I do spiritually. You know what I'm saying? So they tell you everybody that was born on your birth date, but also even the year. So you could like contact people that were born at the same day and year you were and shit. We're all the same age, of course. This shit is so fucking funny. I love this shit. But I don't like I say, of course, you got to be careful though. That's all I can tell you. Yep, ascendant chant. And then they even tell you the ascendant. Like one person has the same ascendant as mine. This shit is so cool. So I can send them a. I'm just gonna tell these people. All right, I'm gonna hit this real quick. I'm gonna hit pause. I'll be right back. And just so y'all understand what I'm saying, when I say light against darkness, it's stuff like this. Like I'll kill myself to like do all the landscaping or whatever I'm doing, cutting the hedges, everything, and you'll get all your stuff. So you got to do all this by yourself. You get it all to the curb, and all of a sudden, you'll do everything you're supposed to do, and the township will come and take it away. And you think it's all over with. Soon as that happens, these people, not just the neighbors behind me, but the ones on the other side, soon as you get done with what you're doing, they'll come and do some effed up stuff, throw stuff in your yard, or just dumb stuff. To the point that you almost have to double work. Or they'll throw some stuff out. The day the other stuff gets taken away by the township, they'll throw other stuff out. Now, the township's only going to come like sometimes once a month. So everything would have been nice and clean, but they wait right to they already clean it up. And then they throw their stuff out there. And a lot of times with the weather, all that stuff leaks down on your property. And then they don't come get it. They don't apologize or nothing. And if you say anything, they try to act like it's yours. And they act like they got an attitude with you. So that's why I say you have no choice but to keep an eye. That's why I don't like a lot of stuff I understand now that I didn't understand. That's why I don't blame people for moving into a neighborhood and the first thing they do is put fences up. They put fences up all around their freaking house, and I said, I used to didn't understand that. Now I do. Because like you're talking to somebody, I'll go out of my way to keep the peace. Like all these people I helped, but Did it solve any? No, it didn't. These people they're at a low third dimensional level, and they're happy with. They love the fake stuff. They like to fake the religion. They like the hypocrisy, and they love to just fake it. There's nothing that motivates them to do better. They don't have to. And the only thing that's going to motivate them to do better is when you expose them. Now they're going to fake it like, oh, I care. Oh, no, no, I meant to. Oh, they ain't care. And that's what I learned. So that's why people don't put up with it. Don't give them a chance. Like your new neighbor is saying, F you. This is our property now. And the fence is me. Stay the fuck out. Okay? If you knock on the door, if we want to talk to you, we will. If we don't want to talk to you, just get off our property. And I ain't even mad at him no more. Like I used to didn't understand that shit. So I used to didn't understand how families break up and don't talk to each other and stuff, but now I do. Because I just see over and over again how it's just selfishness, unbelievable selfishness, and a strong desire not to ever say, you know what, I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. All right, we're getting ready to do it. Don't worry. Everything I'm doing, whether you know, understand it or not, there's a reason for everything that's being done because this is how the spirit is working. And again, sometimes when you have all those setbacks like we had in the first part of this video, all those setbacks were for a reason as well. Sometimes you just got to be patient. They say Taurus is patient. Sometimes you just have to be patient and go with the process. All right, so I did register, but they don't do your moon sign. Not I get a moon sign reading. Like I go to a place where I get a daily moon sign reading. They don't do that. They do your chart and stuff like that, but if they're not dealing with the moon sign, I'd rather do the chart on the like I do it on this side. I go to the east for any moon sign matters, but other than that, I stay over here. All right, let's go, Ben. Okay, this is gonna be moon sign Taurus. Your safety depends on stability, which is not easy to satisfy. You may have a practical nature, dependable on the mature aspect of life. You have to learn to accept change as part of your life. A lot of this we already read. Otherwise, complications can occur. Change is caused by other people that you love, illness, and so on. The basic problem is fighting your own self-respect in order to ensure that you do not mistakenly seek the material things. Yeah, we covered all this. When you accept yourself for who you are, it will become easier for you to find peace and tranquility in your life. Your advantage is in the ability to perceive yourself and your body and to satisfy your own needs as well as the needs of others. All right. All right. All right, we are still in the first house. It's not my fault. Not my fault. Were you born on a new moon? Well, yes, she was. And we're going to try to find out why. Ha ha! Because that's what nerdy investigators do. And just as a way of advice, you might want to use Australia to find out more about yourself. Just find out who's like one of the best astrologers in Australia. And just check it out. They're pretty cool. I'm doing what I'm doing, but Aussies are cool too. Babies like to be born on a full or new moon. See, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is Crystal Lynx. She's been around a long time. She's like an OG. Crystal Lynx is an OG of astrology, but more lately, I don't know if it's the same woman or not, but she's come out of the mysteries, and now she's more accessible. But I remember when Crystal Lynx was very inaccessible, and that's why I question if it's the same person. But you know me with the conspiracy theories. Oh! She is the OG. Before Terry Nasson, Michelle Knight, and others, there was Crystal Lynx. Going way, way, way back. The new moon personality is a fresh-faced and ready for action, and that's why I said she's really ready to jump. And this is in her first house, and that's ruled by Aries, and that's also Aries is always ready to dive right in, jump right in. You are impulsive, dynamic, forceful. Born at a new moon, you embody the raw surge out of the primordial dark, and that's really when you was born, the darkness. But no, really, you was going into the dark. The new moon is the dark. Remember that. You're the fool of the tarot card, so that's a 0 degree, and it's Uranus energy. But you got the Uranus energy because you got a lot of 2-3s on your chart as well, which we will be talking about. And 2-3 could be the Mercury, the good speaker. That's a magician card, which is 0-1. The good speaker can speak things into existence. But it can also be the 2-3, which is chaos. Boom, boom, out of nowhere. Chaos. So that's Uranus energy. You're the fool in the tarot card, going out with just a knapsack and a dream. But what makes a fool so good is if you're a spiritual person, if it's Jesus, he's telling you to have faith. And if you're a spiritual person, the high priestess or the divine mother is telling you to believe and have faith. So it's not necessarily wrong to jump into things if you're doing it based on faith, but sometimes it might work for you and sometimes it may not work for you, and other times it may actually be embarrassing you. Everybody's laughing at you. So they say on a lunar calendar, first days after the dark moon up to 3.5 days. Degrees 0 to 45 degrees ahead of the sun. Inner directive, acting on impulses, announcing your presence to the world. Hi everyone, I'm the newborn baby. Personal energy, just a moment. Traits and tendencies. Your lunar phase energy is similar to Aries. See? Now look. Now just look at your chart. Now again, where am I at? I'm at www.liveabout.com. And this is the new moon personality. So the lunar phase, new moon energy is similar to Aries. Well, in your first house, ruled by Aries, this is where all this is going on. So this is a real runner. One to dive in, but also Aries is the leader too. Taurus is tough too. But now look what's in your 12th house. Aries. So you can already see you got some type of past life, present life stuff going on with Aries. That's why I said it's not my fault. I can't rush through your chart. I'm sorry. I can't come out here and go, ooh, let me find Venus and make a whole discourse on Venus. Oh, look where Venus is. Oh, lovey-dovey. Give me your money. Everybody's happy until you find out I'm jerking you. But you're out of your cash, and I'm in the Caribbean on a cruise. Yay! Sucker! So no, I can't rush through this. We have to take our time to find out what the heck is going on here. And you have to have fun doing it, people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're mad at me if I tell the truth. Oh, I don't like his tone. He seems mad. He seems bitter. But if I'm goofing around, oh, he's a goofball. So I guess I might as well just be me, because no matter how I do it or what it, I'll never make the masses love me. But see, that's why I say, what's that guy's name? Craig Ferguson. He shouldn't have left that show. I would have loved to have a show like that. Late night when nobody gave a darn, and you could have did whatever you wanted to. You just had to watch the language. Other than that, he was just getting and had the most beautifulest women in the world, all lusting after him. What Leo would have won such a fun? That would have been me, the underground guy. They would have said you're an underachiever. I would have said that's right, because I don't like working with people like you. Yeah, I said it. I'm down there in the underground. Me and Ed Norton. Hey, Alvin boy. All right, let's continue. Personal energy, traits, and tendencies. Your lunar phase energy is similar to Aries. So you got some type of Aries stuff going on with your first house and your 12th house. You got to find out what is going on with Aries. The first fire sign who rushes into situations in a good-natured way. That innocence gives you an optimistic outlook. Your enthusiasm is contagious, and you bring others along for the ride. Yeah, I should say that. Everybody loves a Taurus. Everybody loves a Taurus. If a room of people are sitting there saying, "Hey, we're gonna do this," no, we're gonna do this. I don't want to do that. We're gonna do it. No, I don't want to do that. We're gonna do that. I don't want to do this. Come on, let's compromise. Come on. Everybody compromise. Come on. So they finally compromise. Okay, we'll do that. I don't want to do this, but I just a compromise. I'll do it. But when that Taurus walks in, and hey, what's going on or whatever, and when that Taurus says, "Yeah, I was thinking about doing this," all of a sudden the majority, if not all those people, will go, "Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that." Because a lot of people say, how the heck did Germany get involved with World War II and get involved with so much horrible things during World War II? But Hitler was a Taurus. That's one of the reasons. And I've studied history, and they say it was just something about Hitler. They said his generals would go, "We can't do this. We can't do this. This is suicide. If we attempt to do this against the Allies, they're going to win. This is suicide." And they said Hitler would come in there and say a couple of things and blah, 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 and then they go out and do it anyway. And you saw, if you ever watched his speeches, you'd be like, "Oh, yeah!" You forget like that was like 60, 50 years ago. Because if you've ever watched Hitler speak, he was way ahead of his time. And I'm not being funny, I'm being totally honest. Like, if you really wanted to study, like, how to be a great speaker and stuff, like, he'd be, like, a role model. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just telling you facts. I don't like the guy or what he did either, but facts are facts. This was a guy that motivated a whole nation of people to follow what he thought was the best course to take for Germany. One of his greatest speeches was right before World War II, when he came to the League of Nations. You guys know about Hitler coming to the League of Nations and letting Britain and all. Because up until Hitler, Britain was invading everybody. Britain was invading everybody and taking stuff over. And Hitler was the first dude to say, "Okay, that's it. We're not going to just sit here and let you just keep taking everything." And see, if you want to know who was the start of the decline of the British Empire, it was Hitler. Study your history. He went and told them in their faces at the League of Nations. He was banging on that. He was going off. "You will no longer." And he told, and they were scared to death. They were shaking. Listen, they were shaking in their boots during World War II. He was the Brock Lesnar of military. They were shaking in their boots in it. He walked in there, said what he had to say, walked out, and that was it. And I think the next thing he did was he went to the Olympics. I think this was after he went to the League of Nations and told them off. And then he went to the Olympics, and they were saying that, they were the chosen race, and if you're white and blue-eyed, you're blind and blue eyes, you're a god, and blah, 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 and every other race is demoted and all that. And then that black guy beat him in track running. Kind of like really embarrassed, their philosophies and stuff. All right. So people will be, you have a magnetic attraction. Like usually a sun sign Taurus is also beautiful. But she's going to have the full package because she's got the sun and the moon. Like this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Sometimes we don't realize how powerful astrology is because we take it for granted because the powers that be do not want us to connect back to astrology because that's your power. This is why they make you seem like, "Oh, the Bible says, oh, God's going to get you. Oh, you can fornicate, he'll forgive you. You can commit murder, he'll forgive you. You can do just about whatever freak you want, he'll forgive you. But you better not look at that astrology. Just leave it alone." Because they know once you start to tap back into your power, they won't be empowered no more. This is why, once again, I have to say his name. I'm sorry, but Hitler was into astrology. Hitler was into UFOs. Hitler was into all the stuff the ancients were into. This is why he was a threat for the real reasons. Not saying he was a good guy or a bad guy. All I'm saying is study the freaking history. Don't just go by something somebody told you. Study it to see if it's true. Even if you were a Christian or a Bible follower, the Bible tells you that. Study this stuff to make sure it's true. Because his story could be a big-ass lie. You got to stop. I'm not saying it is or isn't. Because I'm not you. You have to study. I can't do it all. So this type of person may start many things at the same time, but may not finish them. And that's why if you're listening, you see me stopping and making sure that these things are getting done. So this person is really interested in things that feel new from start to finish. And they said you might let others finish what you started. I don't think that's cool. I think that's freaking immature. Young lady, you will. Like when you were younger, you sent to your room, you will finish. I want to. I want to start something new. You will go to your room, young lady, till you finish this. You want to test yourself in every situation. So the way you emerge comes from your sun moon signs, which can be exact or close degrees. They are. I think hers are exact degrees. And I think they're both 23. I'm not sure. I'm not looking at the chart. When I get there, I will look at it. But right now I'm reading this. It's an uncomplicated initiating expression of your lights into the world. And when by your light, she's talking about your luminaries, sun and moon. Because the moon it lights up in the night sky because of the reflection of the sun. So it is a light. People say that, oh, the moon is just a reflector. It's just a big reflector. I was looking at the moon. I said, oh, it's so beautiful. I was looking at it the other night. It's been so beautiful the last couple of nights. That's a very mysterious planet. Some people say that's not the same moon that's been up there. And then other people say that that moon is just like a shell. Some people say that moon is now hollow and is a planet itself. It is a ship. Not just a planet, but it's a ship. And they say it's people inside of it. I don't know. I know, no. I just know astrology is powerful. I know that. What is the zodiac sign of your sun and moon? It's Taurus. Are they the same? Yes, they are. If so, that's a concentration of that particular sign and acts as one force. So they say you're in the double of that sign. You're in the double of Taurus because your sun and your moon is Taurus. Your ego drives have a lot of emotional power behind them. And this is why your ascendant, AS, this is why your East Point, EP, is in your 12th house. Because they're doing some stuff with your Aries. So you got some past life Aries stuff going on. But now it's not only past life Aries stuff, it's also present life Aries stuff. So that EP East Point is the ego of the sun. So they put that over in your 12th house. Your ego drives have a lot of emotional power behind them. You quickly know what you want and go after it. Hey, you! Yeah, you! Guess what? I'm looking for a lucky guy, and I think it's you. You are a force to be reckoned with. Can come across as having a strong sense of self, and you can see that in your first house and your second house. You might be full of yourself from time to time and need to work on seeing others' perspectives. And I didn't say it, so don't get mad at me. This is liveabout.com. You cannot be full of yourself, and you've got to learn to slow it down since you're a Taurus. They move slow, patient, and try to realize that there's other people going around about you. If your sun and moon signs are not, but they are, so we don't have to read that. You may have the initiating part down, but often fail to take practicalities into account. You are the emerging being, but may not fit the circumstances at hand. In her book 2012 and the Galactic Center, Christine Page writes that you can feel disconnected from the earth. On new moon natives, and that's what you are a new moon native, she writes they are helped by becoming more present and aware of their bodies and by making a mark upon the world without seeking the approval of others to give them security. So you gotta make. So I would suggest you get into Jasmine Gonzalez, one of my favorite YouTubers. Because here was a little Mexican chick. It showed you why their people are famous throughout history. She took on the world by herself. When she first came out, she was a lot like me. Gutter! She was cursing and everything. And she kept on doing her show. She had a lot of views from a lot of views. She began to get a lot of companies that wanted her to try their clothes on and things like that, makeup on. She blew up like that. Then she was just in the gym. Because her boyfriend worked a lot, so she was in the gym a lot. Transformed her body. Just unbelievable. 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 This is Jasmin, Jasmine Gonzalez. Gonazalez. So if you're insecure, if you need somebody to motivate you to get it moving and take the world over, because with something like YouTube, there should be no stopping you. Because all these people, you know what it's like to see a 12-year-old kid talking about his room and getting paid? Oh, this is my room. I know I gotta clean it up, but I just don't feel like it. And my mother's always nagging me. Oh yeah, by the way, this is my Instagram, and there's a bad. So how much is this little kid making? I'm hating. I wasn't hating until now. I wasn't hating on my brother-in-law, but when I see a 12-year-old making more cash than me, I get a little angry. Just a little. So I'm telling everybody, there's no reason for nobody to be repressed anymore. I mean, you got YouTube, you got all the social media, and there's people dying to hear what you got to say. And not only dying to hear what you got to say, they're also trying to support you. So there's just you just can't blame other people and say I'm repressed and go hiding somewhere. Now my brother-in-law, he didn't go hide anywhere. He just became fanatically, I'm going to work all the time, I'm going to work all the time, I'm going to work all the time. So that would be my strong suggestion. Don't be afraid. Tap into your Aries energy, because that looks like that's one of the reasons why you're here. But we won't know until we keep on going. Sometimes I would like to have bounced through this, but I just couldn't. It's just like something told me to take time. So your persona is be the initiator, the initiating spark. But you're going to have to learn how to gain confidence in your timing and an understanding of yourself in relationship to the world. So they said your totem might be the crescent moon. And yet you are also part of those days before the moon shows up. And again in the vulnerable dark. So when the moon is about to go totally dark or new moon, it is a crescent. It's a small slim of white of the moon. But then it goes dark and then it starts to come out. So what they're basically telling you to do is learn how to tap into those 2 days before the moon goes dark and the 2 days after it. Because we haven't gotten there yet, but basically what they're showing you is death and rebirth. And you probably already know how to do this, but they also say about learning how to forge ahead without necessarily seeing what's ahead. And that's what the Fool does. They're saying it right now. It's about going on faith. You gotta have faith, but you just gotta make sure your faith just has got to be based on reliable sources. Like, I do a lot of praying, a lot of people. This is what I mean about the powers that be got you. Like, if you say, like, if you're on a date with a guy, right, and this is your first date, you really don't know this guy, but for some strange reason, you went out with him, but you really don't know him, and you're not really necessarily attracted to him. You're just trying to understand him. But maybe your girlfriend hooked you up or some junk like that. So you're on a date with this guy for the first time, and he says something like, you know, a lot of times in life, you're not sure what's going to happen. Maybe he starts talking about the stuff I was talking about, which you probably shouldn't talk about on the first date. But maybe he's talking about crazy neighbors and the battle of light against dark or something like that. And he basically says something to you. He goes, yeah, I really pray a lot, and I can see, God helping me. Perfect timing with God helping me. Now, if a guy says that to you the first time, you might say, uh-oh, this guy might be a weirdo. Not that he is, but for some reason, that's how we're programmed. If somebody says something like that, we automatically think like, uh-oh, he's talking about God and praying and God helping him. And oh, this is sound a little crazy. But in reality, I do it all the time, and I know it is true. Because like even with my neighbors, they did that on purpose. Like everything happens for a reason. They blocked all the spots on purpose so there would be no place for the other guys to put the landscaping but in front of our house just to start another war. But thank God through prayer, and because the grass wasn't that bad, there wasn't a whole lot to put there. They did put a stick or something there, like a big branch off a tree, but they didn't fill up that area. So ever since I've been praying, I can tell you, because that stuff used to come down on our yard all the time. But it wasn't just praying. I had to raise hell. A lot of times you got to work with the prayer. But I had to raise hell. I tried to let the township know, but nobody's going to make a move. And I tried my best to let them know best I can. But they're a bunch of weirdos. Now, I've known them my whole life. But we don't have their phone number. You come to the door, knock on the door, they won't open it. They just like weirdos. So you had to get their attention and let them know, oh, I can. You're not inaccessible. Like you're not gonna keep playing me out. Like I can't. But everything I did was definitely legal. But it just let them know, oh, he found a way. He found a way to get to us. So now they're a little bit more careful with their stuff, but they're still callous with how they carry themselves. And as long as they're callous, the situation can happen again, which is why you hear me saying I'm looking who's out there, what's going on, because I'm keeping an eye on it in case I have to do whatever I have to do legally to deal with them. So they're saying a new moon personality will get dark guidance from the unknown, whatever that unknown could be. It could be tarot cards, it could be a tarot card reading, it could be a natal chart, but whatever it is, something unknown. And they say things that you do may seem like they come out of the blue by other people, because you're working on like what's not necessarily seen or perceived in the physical world. So they say you were preparing to emerge at the darkest time of the month, because like I said, the moon does go dark in a new moon. They say perhaps you were waiting for the new moon to arrive. Well, this is why we're here. We don't want to hear the word perhaps. We were here to see you tell us. Now you can waver between wanting to be cautious or following that impulse to act on the inner knowing. Alright, we're still going to keep going. We are still going to keep going. This is moongiant.com. Moongiant.com also does moon phase calculators. Moon phase calendars, excuse me. So the new moon is also known as the dark moon. So they're saying that some people think the new moon is weak at that time because it's dark. And they said although the new moon might be dark when it becomes a new moon at that time, it may still have a strong influence on children born under its darkness. During the new moon phase, both the sun and the moon are lined up at the perfectly. Now remember, the sun represents the ego, external personality, masculine. The life, the vitality. The moon represents the feminine, secretive, more reserved, more to themselves, emotional. So during a new moon, your mind and your heart are in perfect harmony. So a full moon child allows inner conflict to trouble them. A new moon does not. You're very in tune with what you want. So you're attracted to that next new shiny thing on the horizon. Now, why would a new moon personality be attracted to that next new shiny thing on the horizon? Because that's what it is. It's a dark moon, but then right away it starts to come right back out of it. And throughout, within the next 2 weeks, it grows. It starts to be waxing. It goes from waning to invisible, basically. And it comes back. And sometimes you can look right at the full, and it looks like it's hiding. It looks like it's hiding through some type of veil in the sky. If you ever looked at a new moon, it looks like that black silhouette. It's so sweet to look at. So, children of the new moon, you might want to form a rock group with that name, Child of the New Moon, especially if you can sing. I'll manage it. Because you probably could sing. I don't know if you're already into music. I don't know what your traits are. I'm trying to figure that out now. But yeah, because you got everything on your side. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You got like the whole universe on your side. Children of the new moon love trying out new things, new trends, new places. It's gotta be new, baby. Oh, I can hear the music already. You can be a star. To others, it seems like you might already be. I don't know. You probably are. To others, it seems like you are always overflowing with an abundance of exciting new ideas, to the point where it can be hard to keep up with your vitality and enthusiasm. But make sure you know how to save your stuff. Don't let everybody hear it, copyright it. See, that's what I mean with Lisa Lopez, because Lisa Lopez was like that. But she didn't know any better because she was young. So it wasn't until she found out how the world really runs and how the music business really is. And then that's when she went to, I believe, Honduras and died with the infamous Dr. Sabi. Do y'all know that? And also, Dr. Sabi is the same man who Nipsey Hussle was going to publish Dr. Sabi's works on healing from cancer and healing. But then Nipsey Hussle left us. So this person has a childlike innocence, wonder, and curiosity. And most people lose this as they mature, but this one doesn't. You're extraordinarily creative. The quintessential ideas person. Woo, this is money. Not that money is everything, but it is necessary. On top of that, since you're always so certain about what you want, you're someone with a strong personality and drive. You tend to be quick about taking action in order to turn your desires into reality. That, however, doesn't necessarily translate into productivity. Because nowadays you got to watch everything. Like even like I had to make a phone call this morning. I had to make it at a certain time for different reasons. And also I stay prayed up. That's one thing about me. I stay prayed up. But I've been here long enough to know that it really is a battle between light and darkness. But then now he's gonna say it again. He keeps saying it. Now he says it again. He says, even though you're a new moon child, and you have boundless enthusiasm, but you were still born when the moon was at its weakest. That means that while you're good at aggressively going after what you want, you tend to have trouble sustaining that energy. And that's why they say you start stuff, but don't necessarily finish it. Bad girl. Bad girl. Well, some stuff you got to make sure, do you need to finish it? Because sometimes we make mistakes, we just dive in. Like maybe the guy's garbage. Don't waste your time anywhere that you're not going to benefit from it. They say usually at the beginning you just go running in. Here I am! But it fizzles out quickly. You keep starting up new creative projects but never finishing them. I want to call you Michelle Angelo, because that's what Michelangelo used to do. Michelle. Because you keep getting distracted by newer and shinier ideas. And that's what, like I said, a new moon would. The new moon, because it's coming out, it's like a baby coming out the womb and it's starting to see the light for the first time. And the baby knows what's up. Because the baby knows what's going on inside the womb. A lot of people ain't know that, but now with new technology and all that, the baby knows what's going on inside the womb. So of course it knows when it's getting at the end, and it sees the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's like you want to see that light. But I'm telling you, it's not good. That's not good for investing, and you really want to start and finish. If as long as it's all good. Because sometimes you don't have to finish stuff that don't need to be finished. But generally, if you start something, you should try to finish it. Because otherwise, like I said, you'll have the greatest ideas in the world. You might have stuff sitting in your room that, musically speaking, or poetically speaking, or artistically speaking, it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you just got to sit in there. Like even Kelly Fox said, right now, poets and mystics can really prevail right now with the energy that's in the solar system right now. So they say you may even lack self-awareness. Being born under the invisible dark moon means that your self is cloaked in darkness. You can't see the kind of person you are. Combined with your intense focus on what you want, you may be known for being selfish, callous, or unable to see things from other people's perspective. And that's the second time somebody said that about you. You tend to have a bad habit of giving others advice that has worked for you personally. Okay, this is www.moongiant.com. Because I don't want her cussing me out, people. I'm reading. I didn't say it. Don't blame me. It's not my fault. So they say you tend to give people advice that have worked for you, but you haven't considered that what worked for you might not work for them. Well, beggars shouldn't be freaking choosy. How dare you when I'm trying to help you out? Just because I gave you some advice that worked for me and wouldn't work for you, now you're going to say I'm self-centered? How dare you? But she's like, but you're going to listen to first. First, you're going to listen before you gave me advice. So they're telling you have to learn how to take advantage of the different moon phases. So that might be one of your goals. Because even if you were doing the Archangel cards, there's a card by Hanael, the Archangel, who is also the High Priestess. And she tells you to make sure you know the different moon phases and make sure you know how to use these different moon phases to benefit yourself and bring manifestation in your life. So they say there's the half moon phases, the first quarter moon phases, and third quarter moon phases. So on a full moon, you should use the full moon to look into yourself inwardly and engage in some personal reflection. So during a full moon, your heart's grasp on your mind is weak. The full moon has an abundance of energy, but that means you're going to be very distracted. So it's not the best time to work on projects that require focus. Excuse me. When the moon is in a high energy phase, which is the waxing moon, the waxing gibbous moon, that's almost like a full moon. It could be very distracting. And they said the waning gibbous moon too. So I guess the waning gibbous moon is when it's real bright, but it's starting to get smaller and smaller, dimmer and dimmer. And the waxing gibbous moon is when it was dim, but now it's getting brighter and brighter. Told y'all it would be a lot of information. Now, I'm being honest with y'all. This is what we're doing right now was the most important. So when I get to the other stuff, if it's not really saying a whole lot, I'm not going to be there forever. Otherwise, this will be like a 15-hour video. I got to get out of here, man. So children of the new moon are the most powerful and the most threatening during the new moon. And low energy phases like the waxing crescent and waning crescent moons. That's when your mind and heart are in perfect alignment. Furthermore, low levels of energy mean that instead of being restless and distracted, you are capable of laser sharp focus. During lower levels of the moon, lower phases of the moon, during low energy phases of the moon, you're more creative, strong-willed, and you have the focus to actually execute your plans. That is the key to an unstoppable new moon child. So on moongiant.com, they give you the other moon phases, and they're telling you to evaluate how they relate to the phase you were born on. Click here to see if you were born on a new moon. Well, we know that you were. But let's do it anyway. But they don't even ask you for the time, so how would they know? Sounds a little cheesy to me. Well, don't blame me. It's not my fault. I clicked it. The browser changed or whatever. Went totally white and stopped. Now I'm going to click it again. I put my cursor in the browser. Clicked it again. And nothing happened. But we already knew that anyway, so I'm not worrying about that one. This is kellyastrology.com. I'm going to look at it relatively quickly. Okay, kellyastrology.com talks about the moon and soul. So they say moon phases can reflect phases of your soul. And these phases will describe where you are in a series of 8 tiers of incarnation. Now he's about the first quarter, new moon, first quarter, full, and third quarter. New moon, seed planting underground. In this moon phase, there is little light. The seed is beginning its life beneath the soil, literally out of sight. Those born at this moon phase, new moon, are full of energy and enthusiasm but tend to shun the limelight. There's always going to be a lot going on for new moon individuals, but you won't always know about all of it. Well, we did say this person will tend to keep secrets, but I think they're wrong because, especially with all this Aries and stuff, because even that other person said that this person will still want to be like out. This person will still want to be somewhat actively out. So they're not going to be like this undercover kind of like ducking people, ducking everything, ducking stuff. It could be possible, but with all that Aries energy and everything I saw, I just didn't get that vibe. And once again, they say these people are childlike, innocent. But a lot of times they're going with their instinct and they're not going with the logic so much. They have many interests and hobbies because they like doing new stuff, new stuff. And they say they'll start projects but may not finish them. These people are drawn more to beginnings and not endings. They tend to make their decisions based on gut feelings rather than practical concerns. All right. I'm just gonna read this real quick. This is Crystal Links. I'm just looking it over. Alright, so this is crystallinks.com, baby birth months. But she's saying babies like to be born on a full or new moon. I'm just reading it over. But she says Ivanka Trump, the daughter of Donald Trump, was in the news on July 17th, 2011, after she gave birth to her first child, a daughter named Arabella Rose. Then she's talking about lunar deities, the moon in mythology. Alright. Alright, so I explained the 23 degrees already. And it's right next to Mercury. So Mercury's going to be communication and thought. Ascendant AC is the sun at the horizon when you were born. The EP is East Point, the sun at the ecliptic when you were born. Alright. Now that circle with the X going through it is part of fortune. And basically it's showing on your chart where you could experience good fortune, stuff like that. But let me just take a look and see if I have the file. Because a lot of my files got deleted. So see if it's still on here. Alright. So we're going to be looking for a part of fortune in the first house. And then they start to talk about the Arabic part. And it's kind of funny because we just said something that had an Arab name. Something about Arab something rose. I forget exactly where we were at. I just find that interesting how right around the same time now we're starting to talk about Arab. Alright. So they say that the part of fortune is an astrological point which can be calculated with the help of the sun placement, the moon placement, and the ascendant. When you got all that in your first house. Alright, so he's explaining a lot of stuff, but it's not really necessary for what we're looking for. I'm trying to get past his explanation of everything. Right. All right. All right. So looking this over. So again, a part of fortune is showing where, say, luck could show up or good fortune could show up. All right. So the part of fortune is a sign of prosperity. The part of fortune is also a fixed point. It does not change during time. All right. So they keep saying a part of fortune is like opening up the gate of luck. So the part of fortune in the first house creates independent character, person who's choosing their own destiny. But this person will have a lot of lucky events in their life, and they say a lot of your events will um, pertain to your physical body. And they saying the same thing. This person will be a beautiful in appearance, especially if it conjuncts a natal planet located in the first house too. And I believe your part of fortune does conjunct with a conjunction ascendant. So this person will really feel good about themselves physically and mentally. They feel at home in their own body. So such a placement, part of fortune in your first house, can give such a healthy life physically and mentally. But what happens is during the transit, be careful of slow-moving planets conjunct to the part of fortune. So the trans-Saturnian planets will usually stall for 2 years near the part of fortune, making 5 or even more conjunctions through transits as a retrograde. So these slow-moving planets and or any retrogrades can be considered quite long-lasting and even permanent due to their slow pace of movement. All right. So these can affect other life areas. These slow moving planets that conjunct part of fortune. All right. So he gave all that, basically with all that talking he did, all he really said was a part of fortune is where you'll have what appears to be luck or good fortune in your natal chart. But what he was trying to say, but that could change based on this, based on that. But none of that stuff is here nor there. And if he's not being specific, then got to be more specific than just doing all that writing and then somebody's reading all that, but he's not saying nothing. All right, so the 7 degrees, again, AC is the ascendant, the sun over the horizon when you were born, and it's your rising sign. So we found out about Taurus, found out about your rising sign. I know this took a long time, but it was based on a lot of stuff that was going on. Those 7 degrees, that's a chariot card. So the chariot card is a Cancer card, but it's also like the moon rules Cancer. So where your part of fortune is, which is also called your good fortune, and your AC at 7 degrees, you have a motherly Cancer nurturing, because Cancer is nurturing type of family type of energy with your Taurus. Now, your Chiron is about healing. That's 14 degrees, 7 minutes, 17 minutes. That is your Temperance card, Sagittarius energy, but it's also your Aries energy. So at the end of the day, you have some type of family, even community. Because Aquarius, I say Aries, but I meant Aquarius. Aquarius is community. Anything with Cancer is family. And then Sagittarius is like that person who wants to bring it all together, like that teacher. And Mercury's kind of like, because remember, Mercury represents the 3rd house, and that's opposite of the Sagittarius or the 9th house. or Jupiter rules Sagittarius. But both those houses, the third and the ninth, deal with teachers. Third house is more short term and younger people. Ninth house is more mature people and more emotionally mature and more like classy and stuff like that. And I believe this coming full moon is all about the sun at 25 degrees on one side of the chart and the moon at 25 degrees on the other side of the chart. So your moon sign is 23 degrees, like we said. That's a good speaker, but it's also going to be chaos. So you have to be careful. It could also be sexual as well. And then the moon is also 23 degrees. Now, let's go to your 12th house. 12th house, the 8th house, they're all about secrets. You have a free report. On your free report, I strongly suggest you really get to know your 8th house and really get to know Scorpio, because Scorpio rules the 8th house and Pluto rules Scorpio. So this is going to be all the stuff going on in your 8th house. And it's a lot of information. That's why I used to read it all, but it takes forever. And plus, all that information is not going to apply to just one person. All right. Now, your Mercury is at 23 degrees. This means you're a good communicator. You got a good thinking, probably very witty. So your first house is very sociable. We just had to get through all the other things. And you see that's a nurturer with that hook. So just looking at her out, it's very nurturing. Her first house is very nurturing. So this would kind of almost be like the girlfriend is one to give the massages and everything. Like from a male perspective, that's a very desirous first house. But now for some reason, she's dealing with the number 25, which usually at the end of the day deals a lot with law, some type of law. Now I want to run through it again. When I say again, because I've not with her, not with this particular order, but I always look at 25. But I know at the end of the day, 25 can be basically dealing with law. All right. So again, number 25, communication, diplomacy, intuition, self-awareness, wisdom, wit. All right. So again, this person can be analytical, intuitive, just unbelievably witty, very perceptive, wise beyond their years. So this person, like I said, is definitely gonna be very attractive. It's gonna be internal, external, cause like they might have that like sheepish way, but they're no dummy at the same time. So like when you first see a person like that, you're like, wow. First you might be attracted to the beauty, then the kind of innocence kind of turns you on a little bit, but then you find out she's also smart. She's not no dummy. So a lot of that's like very, cause that's what I'm saying. It's just a lot of it is highly feminine. Like that number 7 really is, even though it's aggressive, that Chariot card, that really is like the divine feminine coming. And that Chariot card shows up in a lot of readings. I had one female on YouTube. She said, "Listen, I'm sick of this." She said, "I'm sick of this Chariot card that keeps showing up. I'm gonna have to." She did sage. She started putting smoke up. She smoked the place out. She started using sage. She was trying to get that energy up out of there because it just kept coming. It's a very powerful, but it's like in my opinion, from my experience, it's like a motherly energy, and that's why you got that hook down there. That is Kyrus. That's another nurturer. So she has so much feminine strength, but also sensuality, sexuality, and nurturing attentiveness that she could just blow people out the water. You know, male or female, if they're into stuff like that, she would blow them out the water. Like if she came out with her A game, because a lot of people, especially like I'm on the East Coast, a lot of people just don't come out with their A game for whatever reason. Like if you see it based on circumstances or whatever, or you just caught this person at a different time. But other locations, people, you get to really see who they are. Like you could take them on a date or wherever, and you could see who they really are. She's like one of them people. She like blow you out because like her first house alone is really, it doesn't stop. All right, we're looking at your 12th house now. All right, now this is Dark Star Astrology. Give me a moment. And I might be getting ready to shut this particular. Yep. All right. we're going to stop it here. This is already 2.5. I'm going to stop this here and come back. And then when we come out, we'll be doing the 12th house.